I am going to just give about a minute or so just for people to come in here to warm things up so that anybody that's watching the video after the live just knows what's going on, that I'm just waiting for people to come in. I'm not stalling, nothing like that. So give me about a minute or so, a minute and 30. All right, we in here. My bad. Sorry for the wait. I am back. I am back. So listen. So today's video is gonna be about Haitian voodoo, understanding Haitian voodoo and voodoo in general, but mainly Haitian voodoo. I'm not gonna lie, mainly Haitian voodoo. So when you talk about voodoo, right? The somebody created the term, and it probably wasn't even the people that was doing the practicing the voodoo, the true people of it. Voodoo was a term given to a group of people to try to either give it a bad name or a bad look. You see what I'm saying? Because really, these were just a bunch of practices and cultural practices and rituals that weren't even looked at like that these individuals was doing as far as their culture. You see what I'm saying? It never was about good or bad. That bad came after the fact. I'm not saying that there wasn't time way back in ancient times where they was doing things and they learned how to do certain things and they had to do so. I believe it because people always do get out of line and do things, and you do got to have backup or a way to defend yourself against whatever is going on. If you can read what I'm trying to say, but the way that they try to give it to you, a lot of that energy came from once people was being oppressed and had to use it for certain things. Although they might have already knew how to use it like that, that whole energy of what they call in voodoo come from people that use their own cultural shit to defend against an oppressor. This is why they may not call certain traditions of certain other people cultures voodoo, but they could be doing the same exact thing. It's like they're trying to demonize somebody's culture, but they only demonizing your culture because they use you use their culture to defend yourself or protect yourself from these individuals, and they didn't like that, so they try to demonize your shit. You got to people who really be going on. That's why I say like a lot of Christians get it effed up because they're already in some type of dogma and they're already in some type of mind control where they don't understand. They look at everything in the world as negative. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? But that's gonna lead us right into this right now. Now, listen. Hold on, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Cool. Put a hold up. Hold on, 1 second, 1 second. So that's how that plays. You see what I'm saying? So, but when you talk about voodoo, my fault for all y'all listening. But when you talk about voodoo, you gotta understand voodoo today. Now, the voodoo today is really a mix of Catholicism, and it's not about it being right and wrong because there was a time period when they was doing through their little colonization processes. People that was doing the straight up original indigenous version of it had to kind of hide it up, mix it with the Catholicism, so that the oppressors to the people that was in power or the people that was over them at the time that had them as slaves didn't either recognize it or you see what I'm saying, or could approve of it in some shape or form. If you kind of get what I'm trying to say, so that's how that plays out. But you need to understand that the energy of it in general, the shit that you see today is real. The Haitian voodoo that you see today, 9 times out of 10, or 8 or 7, 8 times out of 10, I want to say, is really like the indoctrinated version of it, or like you could say lost version a little bit, because it's not that there's not truth to all these things. But when they start got you with, like, I'm not trying to lie, but like when they got you in like Saint Mary and all that shit like that, they really kind of got you reverence somebody else's ancestors. Now that's kind of another video too, but you need to understand that it's not right now. A lot of people doing it. It's not at its truest original source of what it used to be, but it's still that, it's still it, but it's not the original. It's like 50-50, because maybe even tinge a little bit more, because over time a lot of that Catholicism is actually whitewashing it out. That's why y'all gotta be careful. I'm not trying to start race wars and race baits and offend anybody, but y'all gotta be careful when y'all be like getting deep into these certain religions that's truly not from your own lineage. Everybody's supposed to be doing their own cultural lineages. Hawaiians and Polynesians supposed to be doing their own culture with the mana and the reverence of their ancestors and deities and spiritual deities and Ku and what's that girl name that I F with that goddess what's her name, the Pele or Pele, however you say it, the volcano, you know what I'm saying? Like different ones, don't have to be anything in particular, because there's hundreds of these things, lesser known ones, greater known ones. But these are like y'all lineages. If you really that, if you truly that in your blood, these be like a lot of y'all lineages and shit like that. So by default, there's certain like DNA codes or what you want to call light codes that kind of certain, you say we saying activation and shit, but it kind of gives you a little bit more of a connection to these things than somebody else. You gotta understand that. That's really how it's kind of was supposed to be anyway. But not saying mixing is bad, but the way that it came through with colonization kind of was bad, because it didn't do nothing but kind of white y'all out. But I'm not getting it to be racist to say that one is bad or the other. What it was to wash all of y'all system out and whitewash all y'all system. That, because if that wasn't the case, you wouldn't have negative. They wouldn't be giving y'all cultures negative looks at it anyway. They make every one of y'all cultures. They make every single one of y'all cultures, if you ain't doing exactly what they want to say and it don't fit into one of their religions that they created, by the way, if you ain't doing they shit, you're considered negative, or you're doing some type of black magic, or this is bad. They got y'all in the loop. And I'm surprised y'all even went for that back in those times. All the way to y'all, and you in a new time now. You kind of don't got as much grace now. You need to know that, because spiritually, because you need to know you in a time where you're more privy to this information. You choose not choose as far as who in here, nothing like that. But I'm just talking people in general, people that's lost to these type of things. You gotta understand, you're choosing not to seek the knowledge. Why? Because you're choosing to just go along with what you heard. You're not trying to evolve with it, and you're trying to be in a situation where you're trying to be comfortable. You're not trying to grow anyway, and you ain't growing without going through any of that. So that's what y'all don't understand. That should be outdated. These are outdated thought forms. This whole Catholicism and Christianity and shit and the Islam. Like, don't get me wrong. There is certain groups of people and beings in nations that these things are for, and these are the people that created them, because these are their spiritual lineages. But once you start saying you're praying to Jesus, you're praying to this, first of all, you're praying to somebody's ancestor. That's not yours, because it wouldn't put you in a situation of feeling like you need to pray to it in the first place. It will be a situation where it's mutual. It's either give and receive, or it's putting you in your true power. No true being, no true, I don't give a damn. No true being, spiritual predecessor or ancestor that's truly for you and in your favor and that's yours is gonna put you in a situation with your hands out, looking up on your knees with your hands out, as if you need to give it something before it gives you something. No, it will put you in a situation to know how to get it your damn self. And then any energy, positive energy that you do give off physically or energetically to this being, it'll just give it back to you threefold, because that's just the nature of it. You can disagree with the fuck I'm saying or not, but all y'all, nine times out of 10, 90% of the world going to hell. Y'all getting reincarnated, recycle back to these same old ass patterns that y'all hate now, that y'all complain about. Get with the effort program. And y'all grace is getting less and less. That's why I don't even feel bad. I don't feel bad like I used to. I used to feel real bad about it. I used to be like, man, this effed up. Nah, I used to get a headache about it. Like, oh, nah, these people won't listen. And, get frustrated. But then you just started realizing spiritually, once you get more elevated and consciousness, you start realizing these people, grace period is running out anyway. Because you think you're just going to be able to just keep come back in this body. When they be saying shit like, oh, the earth is moving into 5D, you do understand the earth is ascending, right? This is why our tides are getting higher. This is why this is why the sun is getting brighter. Y'all don't understand. Y'all are actually ascending into something. So y'all keep doing the same shit. Y'all not elevating. Eventually, y'all spirit might even end up getting dissipated because the wave that we're getting into is gonna be so much higher and broader that if you haven't been elevating and expanding with it, this is how you go through what they call the shit cycle, aka you not being birthed out into a new world, aka ascending and taking a higher vessel, or even coming back here in a better vessel. You're gonna end up getting shitted out, aka you might like dissipate. You might be too small of a spirit to take another vessel. That's why when you be watching shit like Dragon Ball Z, you think like shout out to recipes of Toriyama and this and the third, but you think when these people, you think these Japanese don't know what they talking about with chi? That's a very real thing. And how you can how people get dissipated, and Beer is the god of destruction, and how and how he got these. Now they may over exaggerate because it's a cartoon, don't get it twisted. They gonna they're gonna give you a sense of entertainment, but power of destruction and can take away, dissipate your energy. That's a very real thing. Down here in the physical realm, remember reality. In this remember reality, the third dimension that you call Earth that we living in right now, your energy cannot be created or destroyed. Your energy can only be recycled and transmuted. But once you go into the spiritual realm, and you go into the astral realm, nigga, your energy can be dissipated. Shout out to those pilot man. Shout out to the quantum community for that knowledge. Your energy can be dissipated once you go into the spiritual realm, and your energy will be dissipated if you don't get your shit together. Y'all gotta understand that same 80s, 70s mindset that y'all be in ain't cutting it. You can think whatever you want to think. I'm not here to argue. I'm here to spread the information. But my whole point is this: I'm not trying to prove anybody right or wrong, but did get off track. Let me get back to this Haiti shit because my whole point of that was to say that people are getting lost because I did go off on a tangent compared to what I'm supposed to be, but it's all right. I'm here. The energy that got y'all in, they got y'all worshiping other people's ancestors. Now sometimes they do take y'all shit and they put their faces on it, but you gotta understand, it's all still forms of deification. They still getting y'all farther and further away from your own truth just by adding Catholicism to the Haitian voodoo. You gotta understand that. So like if you real hard into Haitian voodoo, that's fine. But understand the indigenous aspect of it too. Excuse me. Understand your real roots too. So that way you can either know how to use it and merge it. This is why I say shout out to Haitian Bokor Leonard El Mera, if I'm saying that right. Because he put us on a lot of game and understanding things too. But you gotta understand that Haitian, it wasn't it now Haitian voodoo is like a religion, but at one point it wasn't a religion. Anything that's a religion to somebody is an intellectual property that's over that, that's controlling that mass. That's why y'all need to understand how shit even get fucked up. Y'all listen, religion is the number one ways y'all all get fucked up, and how y'all not seeing it, I don't know. But damn it, show me y'all ain't trying to grow. Cause certain shit ain't that goddamn hard. And if you really was expanding your spirit and trying to learn information, cause even y'all Bible say seek ye knowledge. So if you just truly ain't seeking knowledge, I don't know what the fuck heaven you think you're going to. Y'all is getting ready for hell. I'm trying to tell y'all ain't ready for hell. That you know, y'all been about to go there. But it's to the point now where we the tides are so high, we moving into higher states of consciousness in this world. Or they say I plan to move into 5D, finna be 6D next. Y'all gotta understand that y'all are getting ready to spiritually evaporate and dissipate if y'all don't get yourself together. Because your spirit ain't gonna be expanded enough to come back into this realm of reality because everything is expanded. You know what I'm saying? So y'all gonna F around and you're gonna try to reincarnate, but you're not gonna have grace to be able to reincarnate anymore because your spirit is not broad enough to take a new vessel. And this is the concept when they come and talk about new earth. Cause this one probably 9 times out of 10 is gonna really be destroyed. Like my grandpa said one day. That whole Futurama shit, that's a real thing they're gonna try to create. But but in order for that to happen, you do understand that there's gonna be a sense of destruction, right? So don't think when they be giving you these concepts of the world being destroyed that this is so far off. Now, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that everything that they're saying is 100% exactly accurate and it's going to be exactly physically the way that they say it is. Because it may play out through thoughts, mindsets, and concepts. They may destroy the world mentally. But don't think it's so far off if they say they're going to destroy this shit. Because they got to destroy this shit to create the new futuristic look that they want to create in the first place. That's a very real thing. You wouldn't have had concepts of this shit back in even the 90s and 80s if that wasn't the case. So they've been had this shit. They've been had these ideas. You think they don't want to put that in fruition for their new world to control it even more? Hold on. What the hell is in my mouth? technology and shit. You see what I'm saying? Understand that. You know what I'm saying? Um, you need to understand that. You know what I'm saying? So listen, check this out though. Voodoo today, as you see, a lot of times, is really like a religion, but it won't. But it is truest state. Back in the indigenous times, in its truest state, it wasn't a religion. It was a situation where this was their culture. Like it actually would be more so what you call like either sorcery or witchcraft, because truly would they be trying to demonize witchcraft, but witchcraft is actually the original state of something. You don't get voodoos and shit like that until after the fact. So if they telling you something is voodoo, that just means that whatever somebody was doing was witchcraft, and they use it against the oppressor. They mainly give voodoo. um they usually get names like voodoo and hoodoo and all that shit to names of people's cultures and rituals that they was doing when they used it against the oppressor. If you ain't 9 out of 10, if you ain't really use your shit against the oppressor, they probably would call it something else. They still gonna call it that because the energetic backing of whoever else used it first like that. If they see you doing any of the same shit, they gonna call it that. But this is also why some people cultures they don't always call it that. You know what I'm saying? They may call it something else. You see what I'm saying? Because they may not use that against them, or if they did, it might not been in the same way. But that's just how that plays out. So the Haitian voodoo you see today is more of a religion, and it's mixed in with the Catholicism shit that really is kind of tainted and whitewashing in it. You got to be careful with it because it'll have you giving energy to their ancestors in a way that you may not need to be doing it. And even if it is still your, even if the energetic signature, whatever you're giving it to, or whatever deity they're giving it to, was still yours first, and then they just whitewashed it, you're still giving a certain percentage of energy to them due to them even putting their signature on it like that. Because one of their deities could have died. One of their beings or family members could have died, and then they deify them as that. So now they taking shapes and form as that and claiming to be the name of that, and you don't know you still kind of giving energy to their ancestors in shape or form. Even so, the only time you giving the true energy to your true ancestor if you know what you're doing. And you're not getting attached to it, but the way that they got on the Catholicism, that y'all gotta be careful with these religions. They did the number on this. I ain't even finna fight that tooth and nail with that. I'm gonna let that go, but that's how that play out. So you gotta be careful. All right. Um, it is indigenous state. It wasn't that. It wasn't a religion. It was just true what you would look at as witchcraft, but that was just a group of people doing rituals to heal themselves and get through life and manifest what they needed and utilize the herbs, roots, tools, symbols to their benefit. You see what I'm saying? That's how that plays out. So I'm gonna catch y'all back later, and y'all have a great day, and I'll see y'all later. All right, bet.